Excellent. It's 6 o'clock. Hello. I'd like to call the meeting to order. As you go, feel free to fill in who's here, who's not. Make sure you have this down for word, something similar. The first order of business we have is the adoption of the agenda. Does everyone have a copy of the agenda that I mailed out? All right. Are there any notes, comments, changes, or alterations that anyone would like to make to the agenda? Yes, I would like to add something to the agenda. At the planning board meeting 2 nights ago, one of the issues I should have dealt with administratively at our first meeting was brought up as having been missed by me, where we have to select terms in a staggered format. I'd like to add that to the agenda to discuss early, perhaps right after we introduce Neil as an A2, if anyone has any problem with that. All right. Is there a motion to add that to the agenda as A2?
I motion.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All against? Abstentions? So now we have an A2 to discuss terms. Any other changes? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
That's Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Abstentions? Unanimous. Okay, the next thing to do is to talk about the minutes and approve the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? No comments, changes? I did put out a second version of it with some of my obvious flaws resolved. I will note that, once again, Maureen McMahon and Michael Serwick, who were in the excuse column in the minutes before, are no longer going to be here this time, but should be here at the next meeting. Without any recommendations for change, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
Second.
All right, Allison moves, Wendy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? Abstentions? And now we move through. Let's see what we've got next here. That was the minutes. We don't have a public to make comments, so we'll skip through that unless there's anyone here that wants to speak publicly about something that's not on the agenda. All right, we have no old business, so we're going to move right into new business for a member introduction. Everyone here has sort of gone through this process already, and I'm sure that you'll get a chance to meet everyone, but I want to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about you, since you're new.
My name is Neil Parks. I am a fairly recent arrival here in town. I've been here for a little over a year. I live up on Cottage Street. I'm an artist. I have a studio at Eastworks. I teach art as an adjunct down in Connecticut at Eastern Connecticut State University in Willimantic. And I have a 17-year-old son. I'm not sure what else I should say at the moment.
That sounds good. That's good.
You're welcome.
Without a full introduction, just for the benefit of Neil, can we just go around and say first names? I'm James or Jim.
Kurt Zellen. John. Jason.
Jess. Wendy.
Allison.
There's no test. Okay. A2 is a difficult topic here, the next item on our agenda. The planning board would like this to be staggered. They recommended to me that I just do this in the order of when the applications came in. I'll explain what this is in a second. However, I prefer to kind of toss it out there. We're all adults here and just let this filter through. If it comes down to a war, then I'm just going to make some decisions. Terms. There's technically 9 people on this board. I've already been put in as a term because I'm an associate member on the planning board. It's 3-year, I checked. So what the planning board would like for the membership here is for 3 one-year terms, 3 2-year terms, and 3, including me, 3-year terms. The point of that is so that it's staggered and so that there's a rotation. So we need to decide who's going to be what. It could come down to the people that kind of came in last. You would therefore be a 1-year term. But it may also be that the people who are here first don't want to be 3 or 2. So I just want to open it for discussion first. Does anyone have an opinion, a preference?
I would kind of leap out there as preferring a 2-year term.
All right. John for 2. Do I have any other takers?
I feel like 1 year kind of seems like not much, but I mean...
It doesn't mean that you can't re-up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can re-up.
It's just an appointment term, so at the end of the term, you could decide whether you wanted to leave, or you could just ask for a reappointment.
Okay.
head of the committee.
I'll go for that,
For which?
for one.
One?
Sorry.
Listen, for one. Anyone else? I need to fill you guys in, and I've got these slots, so help me out here. Throw me a bone.
I'd be happy to go 3.
All right. All right, Jason for 3. I prefer to have the last 3 slot be you. Are you in for that? Because you're secretary, and I'd like to keep you as long as possible. Are you
That
okay with
means you
that?
can never not
Kurt
be
didn't know what you were getting himself into.
Very honest guy. Sure. Okay, Kurt for 3.
No pressure.
All right, we have me, obviously, 3, and this
I'll
leaves
go 2.
Wendy 2. And that
You can put me for the 1.
1, 2. Yeah, I think that's all we have left is the other one. And these are our other numbers. They haven't shown up, so really they're left with what's left, which appears to be. Did I put Jason in as 2? Jason wanted 3, right? That's my mistake. So all the 3s are filled. We have 2 2s and 2 1s. So all the other 2, we're going to have to decide who's 2 and who's 1. Maureen's been in better communication with me. She's 2, and Michael, who's a great guy, but he hasn't contacted me quite as much as Maureen, is a 1. Talk about arbitrary. Okay, thank you for helping me to get through that. I will be presenting this to the planning board, and they will be officially approving it. Has everyone here now had a chance to go sign in?
Swear and
Swear in?
Swearing. I haven't done it.
Done it.
I haven't done it.
Okay, so it needs to be done?
Yeah.
All right. Will the finger wagging do?
It's not necessary.
Okay. I just want to make sure everyone
I
knows.
believe technically, you can't vote until you've been sworn in. So if that's any incentive,
Okay.
I don't know.
Wow, that's much worse than a finger wave. All right. Now we're up to the second B item here, which was to bring in and discuss the items. And I had said, and I think I emailed this to you as well, that we want to talk. This is just to kind of get the ball rolling about what we're going to discuss. 3 things that you think are the first 3 things you'd like to see discussed, and 2 things that you think are the things you'd like to see discussed first that could be quick and easily implemented. A fine idea from you. What I'd really like to do, just to make this easy, is just to have you guys jot them down on a piece of note paper. I've got a couple pieces extra. I meant to bring cards. But we're going to pull them in here really quickly. Just look at them. When you jot them down, I want you to write next to each one. If it's a number here, then just write the number. If it's an idea, quickly write a sentence for the idea and put the number 1, 2, and 3. But put them in reverse order, please. 3 is the one you want the most. 2 is the one that's in the middle, and 1 is the one you want the least. We're going to add up the points and quickly decide which of the things we're going to decide and go through first, and we're going to start talking about them.
I'm a little unclear on that, in that we were picking 2 things, as I recall, that were high priority.
3.
Long-term, 3 things for the long term, and 2 things for the...
Well, really more about 3 things that are what things we want to discuss first.
And those
they
are
don't
the
necessarily have to be high priority, although I suppose by default, things we discuss first will be high priority, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
and those are the only ones you're concerned about numbering?
You can, the 2 that are fast, I think that we're going to be able to sift through.
So those don't need to be
Yeah,
priority?
I think that what we're going to be,
That's all I needed to know.
I think it's probable that we won't find too much debate on what people can think, what people think can be done quickly. I could be wrong, in which case I'll shoot it back to you and have you number.
Just wanting to be clear about what you wanted us
So
to...
everyone knows what they need to do. 3 is what you want the most, 2 is the middle, and 1 is what you want the least. Just write down a piece of paper and hand it to us. Any piece of paper will do, and if you don't have one, we can provide you with one.
Does anybody need a piece of paper?
And a pen. I've got a laptop instead.
I want to reiterate again, because of concerns last meeting, that this isn't the end-all be-all, just to get the ball rolling, pick the topics we're going to start on. Who needs paper?
I need a pen.
Okay, the pen I can-
Do you need a piece of paper?
No, I have...
I kind of realized that I don't think I did the assignment right.
It's okay. Really,
I'm sorry, but
we
what
can't
I
really lose
did-
on this, so.
Okay. Because what I did was I picked the top 3 from the actual 25 priority list, and then I went through the whole thing, and I picked 2 others that I thought not necessarily were quick and easy, but I felt like they could catalyze like momentum, and like they could be like visible. I don't know. So anyway, so I don't know that.
Toss them in, we'll do the best we can.
Okay.
Some separate pieces of paper?
Well, you put your entire thing on one piece. We're going to collect them and review them very quickly if at all possible. It's been a very long day. And we're going to try and...
Jim, do you want one of those big notepad things? You want one?
Where did we go? There was one there. You all set? We're just going to kind of add these up and figure out what are the things and go forward. Seriously, it's like playing a game. City meetings should be fun.
Oh, okay. I'm doing it wrong again.
Thank you. Thank you. Who here has the best handwriting? Not you though, because I'd like to be able to record what's going on.
I don't have the
I need a
You
volunteer.
know what, I can do writing since I'm not participating. I think it's
Thank you very
important for
much.
everybody to stay at the table and
Okay.
participate.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Although my spelling is atrocious, I apologize.
Won't count out for your spelling if you don't count out for my penmanship.
Your permission.
Okay, we're just almost... We can start rattling these off whenever you're ready, I suppose. Now, in terms of how you want to organize that on the paper, we can just go 1 through 25, basically at the top, and then we'll just give waypoints and total them at the bottom, and that'll show.
There's no consistency in the numbers?
Well, if we can skip, yeah, I can give them to you, and you can just leave space for additional numbers in between if you don't want to write 1 through
I'm not
25.
following it, but that's
Write
okay.
1 through 25 across the top.
Really? I don't think 1 through 25 is going to fit, but go ahead.
I believe in you. If we need to make a second row, that'll also...
Yeah, I think you're going to have to.
No problem. Just give it some good space so we can tally them anyway. Thank you. All right. Number 9 gets a value of 3, and you're going to have to leave space for more of these. And number 19 gets a value of 2. Number 20 gets a value of 1. While I'm doing this, can you quickly tell me, are these on that list, or are they pulled from anywhere?
No, I pulled it right from the document.
Pulled from
I
the
didn't
document.
actually
Do me a
look at
favor and
the
take the book
numbers.
real quick and see if you can match. If not, I'll add that in last. Number 2 gets a 3. Number 14 gets a 2. Number 17 gets a 1. Number 17 gets a 3. Number 23 gets a 2. Number 16 gets a 1. Look at this group. Number 13 gets a 3. Number 7 gets a 2. Number 19 gets a 1. Number 1 gets a 3. Number 9 gets a 2. Number 14 gets a 1. And we've got 2 more coming.
Yeah, none of mine are on that
Okay, we'll
numbered
just-
list.
We're going to have to figure out how we're going to integrate it by talking about which, we'll add up the other points, match them, and then compare them to yours and see how it integrates, because I don't really have a metric other than that. So,
They're all from the
If I could
document.
just-
I don't doubt you, and nor do I think it's inappropriate, it's just we have to integrate. It's hard to integrate, so, what you got? Is it good?
No, I'm still, because I similarly did not really identify anything in the top 25, so I'm trying to go back and,
I don't want to force you into that box. We can just, if what you have is written down like this, we can just add it at the bottom and integrate after we figure out the
Okay.
others.
Yeah.
okay.
I think it'd be good, because
Yeah,
I
I'm
fear
not
we'll
gonna
end
skip
up just drawing from the already drawn from selected, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're-
but
The
we're going to be
selection
here a
of
while.
the selection of the selection.
1, 2, or 3 years.
Yeah.
So we need a starting point. Okay, what do we have for tallies? Okay, so number 9 takes the top, 17 number 2, and then we've got a few ties, 1, 2, 13, 14, and 19. Let's take a look at what those are, shall we?
I feel like I'm on a game show or something.
All right.
Let's go behind door number 9.
Yeah. First off, the top one listed here, number 9, write and adopt a local wellhead protection plan. And you want, I see
actually exactly
that
the
you
same.
have that, yeah, so let's add a 1 point to number 9.
You could add 2 points, because I had that,
And hold on, did you have it as your number 1?
I had that as number 1 under low-hanging fruit.
Under low-hanging fruit. Okay, so that's your quick and easy, it didn't participate in your larger, okay. So then we have number 17, which is create a transportation commission staffed by members from various city boards. You say public transit.
Yeah, that would qualify.
You
That's-
think that fits the bill?
That would be the point of the Transportation Commission, I would assume.
And you hear,
Just to clarify, I think just when we did the document, the Transportation Commission was to look to address all transportation issues, including transit as a function, so.
Right. So I would still think it would fall under the,
Yes,
if you want to number it as
absolutely. Yeah,
17,
Yeah,
that still
just to
works.
clarify though, that it's not, it was
Not
not, the idea was
exclusively,
not
no,
to
I
be
didn't mean it's
exclusively
only
transit.
public
Yeah.
transit.
what board?
I can try. It's the Citywide Design Review Board.
Design review, okay. And I don't see anything about transportation in there. Then we have number 1, Smart Growth District, which I'm not seeing here for either of you. POI,
Points of interest.
points of interest, thank you. Number 2, maintain and extend the Manhan Rail Trail. Nope, nope. Number 13, affordable space for artists. Design board? No?
No.
No.
Totally. 14, inspect and evaluate each school building for possible reuse or sale. No. No. And 19, work with developers and property owners to create infill housing in downtown areas. Nope. Nope. Given the tallies of scores we have, that would make the only competing ideas that you have. Is this your number 3, your highest one? Yes. Is that your number? And this says what?
Repair the pool.
Repair the pool. We have that in here as a number, don't we?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's 20.
Number 20, can we add 3 points to number 20? And then 3 points, create a map for points of interest. This is a new concept, please label it 26. And put it down for 3. Everything else that you had has now been put in there with the public transit and the 1, so you're covered. I didn't quite cover you, but I don't think adding 2 other fields is going to up anything to be in consideration in this. Do you agree?
Sure.
Okay. So, top 3 are 9, 17, and 20. Okay, now let's quickly take a look. Having accomplished that, those are the first things that the committee will discuss. But we want to talk about the easy stuff first, so let's go and deal with that. We have, this is your quick and easy, the wellhead protection plan. Jess, do you want to we'll do a little more up there? Or do you want to just write it down?
You want me to write it down?
Yeah. In this case, you can put it down, wellhead protection plan is number 9, I think. That's right, 9. Nonotuck Park Conservation, 18. Am I right? That's 18.
Yes, number 18.
Okay. Is Does this say parade or parole?
Parade.
I was hoping.
What was the second one after wildlife protection? I had number 17.
Number 18.
For the transportation. 17.
Yeah, we're doing quick and easy now. These are
Oh.
quick and easy. We're moving to the second topic here.
So this is a quick and easy?
And we're moving to quick and easy. Yeah, we're done with it.
This is not quick and easy.
He wants that as a quick and easy.
I see, okay, all right.
The other thing is number 18 is quick and easy.
Trying to be confused.
I'm just writing down all the things that people put down for quick and easy. We're
Okay,
gonna-
what do you want me to write down?
Number 18, which is non-touch park management. Conservation, maybe.
It's ensuring that they have a conservation management plan.
History parade. There's no number for that, so you can write number 27. Classroom history projects. I don't believe that's in there as well, so number 28.
Submit a quick and easy.
What's that?
Sorry, are you reading from submitted quick and easy?
Submitted quick and easy is from some I didn't get some. That's you.
I don't think I gave you.
I didn't.
Oh, we can-
I can give you real quick.
I Google this kind
Tell-
of quick and easy.
Okay, so here we have number 2, quick and easy, and number 4, quick and easy. That's rail trail and website, which is,
Okay, a minute, rail trail,
and website. That's 2 for rail trail.
wait a minute, rail trail extensions? Rail trail
It's just a-
expansion?
Yeah, number 2, so that's maintain and extend the Manhattan Rail Trail to Northampton, Southampton, non-touch park, schools and community facilities. Also number 4, which is the website enhancement. Mine, that I hoped could be done quick and easy, but it could be crazy, are number 17, create a transportation commission. And number 6, establish an energy and sustainability commission. I think establishing commission. So, no one else? Anyone want to put in that this is your chance, put it on the board.
I was talking to Burns Maxey, and since none of the cultural things made the top 25 list, and we just went through the cultural section, and she was saying that 2 things off of that list that would be quick and easy to do would be number 16 on the cultural, which is provide opportunities and sites for student public art. And the other one that would be quick and easy, establish and participate in a regional arts coalition to market and enhance the valley's cultural resources.
Okay.
This is not from the
Yeah, it's not somewhere else.
25, it's
Okay.
from
It's
the
the back of the book.
individual
It's
chapters.
It's numbers 16 and 20 in the cultural.
Regional,
Okay, excellent.
regional arts collaboration?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Good, good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I had a couple that, they were from inside the plan.
That's fine, though. I apologize for trying to stick you all in a box.
Not a problem.
We don't often fit. I'm going to try it anyway.
All right, 2 I pulled inside the plan were from the housing strategy. I said review Easthampton zoning ordinance to determine whether current regulations are too restrictive for building affordable homes. And the next one I had from the economic development section, expand and enhance city-supported events such as farmers markets and artisan festivals.
I want to throw in for the interactive website. And this, see, I didn't pick it that it was easy, and maybe it's not, but I just want to put it up there. This streetscape improvements under economic development.
Okay. All right, now we have to that's everyone, right? I'm not missing anyone at this point. You're in there? Okay, good, good. Well, congratulations, we got that far. All right, so we know what we're going to talk about in the big subjects, but we really need to narrow down this list. Everyone just take a good look at what we've got up there. Can we just say them out starting from the top? We're talking easy only, so it's the second half of the list.
This had been part of my point in bringing it up, is that, for example, something like classroom projects that involve Easthampton history, I just basically see virtually zero resistance or obstacles towards doing that. It just requires the initiative on somebody's part. And again, the reason why I might suggest we consider that even along with the big things is mostly to create inner momentum so that people feel like we're...
Here's what I want to do, and you just help me get there.
Sure.
Thank you. I want to give everyone a chance to kind of bid for something here, and everyone's going to get... Uh-oh. We good? I'm going to give everyone just a few voting points, all right? And then we'll just assign your vote to each one so we can pick which ones we're going to do first. All right? How about 2 votes each?
And we'll come back and revisit the list.
Nothing gets, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not
we're here for
discarding,
years.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I refuse to talk about that ever again. No.
Just being clear.
Okay. We're just trying to hone this down to something that's workable and we can start our discussions. And so everyone gets 2 points, but before you allocate those points, I want to go around the room. We'll start over here. I think we'll start with you.
Well, I just did.
Okay.
How do you want me to mark?
And well, before you make your vote, what we're doing, this isn't the vote. I want you to make a pitch for your idea so that everyone here has an informed opinion of why it's of value. So he just made a pitch, and it was for the history, teaching in classrooms.
Yeah.
What exactly? Help me understand that a little better.
Well, for example, a teacher could take it upon themselves to bring up the mill history and develop a project where the students have to try to manifest a textile or understand. The real point would be to learn about Easthampton history, but there's 1,000 ways that those teachers can come up with creative projects that engage the students to do that. So I wasn't figuring on any specific individual project, but more that we're talking to the schools and teachers and trying to put the idea in their heads, and then we would support it if probably it would get bounced to me, actually separate from this group, to then support them if they wanted access to historical information or records.
Okay. So, Pete?
Okay, well, the 2 I picked, the zoning regarding affordable housing, I thought, just the fact it's talking about a review, not actually coming up with a regulation yet, it doesn't hurt to start looking at that now and to start thinking about, we just had obviously the one over on Parsons Street that just was approved. We want to make sure that we're meeting the 10% minimum requirements, so it's important. I thought to take a look at, how if zoning is playing a factor in that. So not necessarily bringing something forward at this time, but just at least get, as far as we're concerned, looking at that and seeing where it goes next. And as far as the farmers markets and festivals, obviously Easthampton already does some of that, but we could build on that. It's already started, so it doesn't seem like it'd be too complicated to build on that at this point.
If at any point anyone wants to ask follow-up questions about the viability of anything or what they think, please do. Do you, I know you're voting, you want to speak?
I would rather stay out of the conversation unless you need me to speak on something.
Wendy?
Okay. And I chose the cultural aspect because, again, it's not something that was listed in the top 25, and given that Easthampton is trying to become designated as a cultural city or, cultural region, I just think it would be good to do.
Okay. All right.
This isn't our vote, right?
No, this is a pitch to everyone to help them understand what they all mean. Because in hearing them, I've already changed my opinion.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I want to pitch the streetscape improvements because I feel like, I don't know about its ease, but I just feel like Easthampton being, this committee having impact on walkability, visible improvements to the city, that feels like, anyway, I just feel like that feels very tangible and like something that could really get us moving and also have some level of like public awareness of what we're doing, and then maybe we would get people saying like, hey, I want to, help out, not to join the committee, but, okay, sorry, I'm not being very articulate, but.
Well, I got it.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, being totally new to this, I was basically just going on the instructions to choose. And so I'm actually coming in as someone also who is interested in the cultural aspects. I'm also interested in history and all these other things. And but I chose just as what looked to be easy from the list, the trail maintenance. And I mean, I saw that word, I guess, maintenance. I didn't see expansion so much. I mean, I was there, but I'm an avid bike rider. I use the bike trail a lot. I'm always very impressed when I come over the line from Northampton, and as soon as you get over the edge is mowed. There's something that's very welcoming about it. There's a lot of people that utilize it, and so it's kind of an interesting thing. And then the other one, and I honestly was just picking totally new from the list, the website, which I'm not that familiar with, but obviously those sorts of things are fairly easy to improve. I'm not personally a web person, but I certainly use them. And so anyway, those are my reasons.
Okay, excellent. I like some of the ideas I've heard better, so I'm not going to make a distracting pitch. Kurt, do you have anything?
Well, going through, I was looking for things that could be done without any cost or minimal cost. So quick and easy things are such as checking out the list would be ensuring Downtown Park has a conservation plan. Not knowing enough about it, but a wellhead protection plan is something that we don't have. There is some tangible evidence of linking an existing plan to housing values, so that has something that's value-based to the city, and that's something that the state does provide guidance on. I'm not sure what actually goes into doing it. I just know that there are established procedures that I believe our DPW probably could be able to do. That being said, going through this, I kind of looked at things that were concrete and measurable, and I think my focus was nothing that cost money to start. But the thing that jumped out at me most about this plan, and I can't find the page right now, was under economic development. There's a reference of the city doing very little to capitalize on available state and federal grants. So most of these projects will require money. So I know I can't find a specific, but I know there is something about making use of
CDBG,
right,
Community
which I know,
Development
which
Block
grants, I know we have, but I know that there's a lot of grants that come up and they close really quickly, the turnaround time. So there usually has to be some preparation going into having almost not generic, but sort of grants that that are pre-written, ready to send out. So
here's what we're going to do. We'll make it 3 votes. That means you'll probably vote for your own two, but you're forced to vote for one more, which means we're going to get tallies that are going to put things up at the top, okay? We're going to do hand raising and count how many hands and ask Jessica to go through the list and count the hands. You each must vote 3 times. Everyone understand?
I just want to see the
Yeah. No problem. Do you want to take a moment and look at it, folks? And just kind of absorb it's the second page, I think. Oh, it's there. It's up there. So. Give it a few moments here, just kind of absorb it.
Can I ask if what you would like us to focus on is the thing that we think is the most important or the most doable?
I think that's really your decision. I can add this. We have 2 groups of things in the agenda, line items that we'll talk about. The things we already discussed, which we've kind of prioritized, and these are sort of the quick and easy, I guess. That's how they're lined in the agenda.
Yeah, that's how, it's like the history parade.
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly make an argument that that's important, but it's probably something you can scratch off the list and brag about almost immediately and without any cost.
It's critical to understand, though, that we'll be adding, whatever we discuss here today, we'll be adding 2 more next week, or 2 weeks, and then 2 more and 2 more. So we're going to make it through all of these points in time. All right, is everyone ready? Jessica, would you be so kind as to on that?
Yes, fan of light will help out.
Yeah, thank you.
Wellhead protection plan.
Raise your hand, you get 3, you must make 3 votes.
You're keeping track of your own votes.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you how many. 3 people
Although,
raised their
one
hand.
thing I'm actually curious about was that not also in the other priorities list?
We may have redundancy.
It was number 9.
Because I'm not going to vote for it in quick and easy if it's up there in high priority.
Does the wellhead have to do with aquifer?
Yes.
That's very important.
1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, next one is Nonotuck Park.
Conservation management.
Conservation management. Raise your hand if you're going to vote for it. Anyone? There are no votes for that?
No sale.
History parade. Please raise your hand if you're voting for a history parade.
John.
Classroom projects.
History classroom.
History classroom projects. You know what, John? I'll support you on that.
Okay, well, I'll come to that too.
That's a neat idea.
Rail trail expansion. Maintenance 1. City website.
This is not me raising my hand. I just can't see. from
Wait,
here.
so sorry, did
Here.
I want to do that? Yes. Yeah, I think so. Yes, I did.
City
One
website.
hand for city website. Is that what I saw? Transportation Commission.
1.
2.
Energy commission.
Okay.
That's too bad. That makes me sad. Student public art.
We're coming back to it. This isn't fun.
Oh, student benefit.
I think you used up your votes. Regional arts collaboration? Everybody voting for that?
No, I'm done with that.
That's the other list.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's why. Oh, wait, 1? 1.
Good
2. Zoning review of the restriction of affordable housing. 2, 3. Expanding city events beyond the farmer's market.
That's 3.
3. Interactive web.
I think that's redundant.
Site,
We can just say that's
redundant. Streetscape improvements. 1.
And we've got 3 tied for the winner, so why don't we just talk about those 3 things, and we'll just put them in the order they're in. Congratulations. Thank you for...
Well, wait a minute. I think you've got some.
Is there...
Well, this is duplicative. This and this are the same.
Right.
So it's okay.
Well, we have a choice then. Do you want to talk about it first or second in our list? Let's just keep it in the master list of things and remove it, and we'll have 2 things, as was intended, to talk about in our... It's amazing how life works, right? Okay.
Are you done with this?
We just need to keep in mind which ones they are in case when I forget. The next item on the agenda is the discussion of our easy things. We have 2 things that we just approved as numbers 3. They were zoning.
Three things that tied at 3.
Right, but we have one of them, has been removed to the other one. It's removed. So we have zoning restrictions. I can't quite see.
Zoning review of restricting affordable homes and expanding city events, farmers markets, festivals.
Let's talk about zoning restrictions of affordable homes.
So I'm a little ignorant on that. How would that be accomplished? That's easy?
Well, let's start with some basic facts. Let's turn to our books and see if we can't just let everyone, unless there's someone here who considers himself an expert.
I can tell you what it is. So a zoning review would basically be probably hiring a consultant, or it could be done internally, to review the entire zoning ordinance, to look for any zoning language that might restrict the building of affordable homes, any problems, and then once you've identified them, then you can move forward with the amendment process of the zoning ordinance.
And so if that was an internal hire, what's that process like? How does that?
If it's an internal hire, what do you mean by that?
Well, you said it could either be...
Well, it would either be myself doing it,
Uh-huh.
and fitting that into my regular work schedule, which is difficult, but could be done.
Okay.
Or, you could, there's the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission that offers technical assistance on occasion, free technical assistance for things like this. There's other consulting firms that could, there you go. So, I mean, there's other options. There's hiring grad students. I mean, there's regional planning students that are looking for work that you could hire them if they have a housing interest.
In your opinion, what's a good metric for success here? Well, I mean,
You would have a document that's the review document. You would have a product that would be the end result of the zoning review. Kind of similar to what the Highway Business District is doing right now. They're in the process of putting a final report together saying these are our recommendations. And so, you know, the consultant would review everything. They would say, we find this to be problematic. Here's a solution for fixing it. Kind of providing the framework of how you could go about amending the zoning based on the review.
With the goal of it being less restrictive for affordable housing.
The goal is to, yes, so it's either, you know, if there's something in the zoning ordinance that's making it difficult for people to build affordable housing based on the zoning regulations, that's what it mostly is.
no, we just made a modification to the zoning, didn't we? I know it's not really affordable housing related,
We changed the multifamily zoning.
right? Is there overlap there?
Well, the multifamily zoning ordinance has an affordability provision in it. There's two sections. There's one that's just multifamily, and there's multifamily with affordable housing. So there's incentives that are built into that zoning ordinance to encourage affordable housing production. I mean, I have to say personally, I think the zoning ordinance, and compared to other communities, is pretty affordable housing friendly.
Okay.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's majorly glaring, but again, that's why it's kind of good to have a fresh set of eyes and a consultant come in to say, you know, here's ways that you can amend your zoning to make it more friendly. And we also, remember, we have a housing partnership, which is a group of folks that's a city committee that works on affordable housing issues, and they meet monthly. And so I think if this is something that you would want to move forward on, I think your first step in the process would to be go and sit with the housing partnership folks and to have a discussion with them about what do they know, I mean, based on their experience, because they've all sat on the committee for quite some time.
Do you know when they meet?
They actually meet the first Wednesday of each month, so it's next week.
In the evening or early?
In the evening. Their agenda's already been submitted, so, I mean, you could show up as public speaker, I believe, if you wanted to talk to them, but if that's something you're interested in doing, I think that's your first step, is going to the housing partnership, because I think it's important for you to remember that there are multiple cities and boards that are working on a lot of these issues, and
Absolutely.
part of your job is to just get into the right
Yeah.
board or group of people and sort of push some of these ideas forward and get it on their radar screen and work in partnership with them to move some of this stuff forward.
And what I'm interested in, due to our process, is how to determine how doable it is. Not important. This is not
Right.
the section where, is this the most important thing? This is the most doable thing.
This is-
So I'm trying to figure out, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how quick and easy is it?
Well, I mean,
We need information to get
I
that.
think you need information. Again, it depends on if you were expecting me to do it. It's not going to be a high priority on my radar screen at this point. I think if we find another consultant, or if we go with PVPC to do it, you might get some results done quicker.
But that could still involve a hiring process.
It's going to still involve, I mean, I'd say it probably quick, if you had wanted a quick turnaround, let's say you want to go with a grad student and you want to start at, say, the beginning of the semester in January, you could have something done by spring,
Okay.
you know, within a 3-month.
That's not bad. It seems then that the first part of the process is to get some analysis going so we can see where we're lacking, where we're strong, and then evaluate exactly what we need to do from there. And you think the first step is to talk to the committee?
I think your first step should be to talk to the housing partnership.
Who brought this idea to the table? Would you like to go to the next Wednesday meeting? Can you make that?
Actually, next Wednesday I do have a schedule conflict. but
I'll back you up. I'll go to that
I
meeting.
can go to a following meeting.
I'll be there anyway if you want me to bring it up to them,
All right, that's easy.
and I can ask them if they'd be willing to put it on the agenda for the next month, because that's all you'd really be asking for anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So I'll be there anyway.
Can I ask a question? I guess a source of information that I felt like would be relevant, and this raises that for me, is that I did feel that there was my lack of knowledge of the different city committees and their role and function. I mean, I kind of, I assume some committees, I don't know about others, and
It's huge.
it
and
is huge,
takes
and I
a
just
long
feel
time.
like for me to make an informed decision about what I feel like is important and or doable, I feel like a little bit of a knowledge about, again, I mean, I'm sure, yeah, we can't review all the notes of every committee to like know exactly what they're working on, but at least just,
I wish that had been provided for me when I started too, and I still feel
Is
like I
there,
have
like, any kind
nothing.
of-
There is. If you go on the website, there's a whole section of city boards and committees.
so we can.
So you can go there and it's got everybody's name on it and who sits on each one, and there's generally a very quick, brief description of what they do.
Okay.
ECAT and EasthamptonMinutes.com also have videos, which is really painful, but
Of which
Unlike-
we will soon be
yes,
on,
yes,
right?
to be able to watch yourself. It's better if you sit on this side.
That's why I'm sitting on this.
Yeah. But it is a good question, and you kind of posed that last week, and I admit to having dodged it a bit just because I really didn't have an answer. That's a better answer, but it still means your own research, your own investment, and it doesn't, looking at those doesn't always tell you what they do, although their agendas are there and their minutes, they're not always put together as clearly as some other committees' agendas and minutes.
Someday, when we
It's
get the
just hard.
website up and running and
The-
interactive
Okay.
with information, sorry.
But I can also
Different
help,
topic.
I mean, I can help with that. If you have a strategy and you say to me, who should we go to first? I can certainly tell you that. So don't spend a lot of time
Yeah, just
trying to, I mean,
overview.
feel free to
Yeah.
go and peruse the website, but if you need answers, that's why I'm here. So I'll do the best I can to give them to you.
I avoided defending the website. So that moves us to the next item, I think.
Yes, city events.
Just to close on that, you're going to go to that meeting, you're going to tell them
Either, yeah.
what we want to put,
I'll
and it has
just,
to be on the agenda.
I will, ask them to put you on next month's agenda.
So you'll represent us in that.
Sure, I will, yeah.
Thank you. Next on the list, we have expand city events, farmers market, and festivals. Well, I love this idea. I remember Carla Racine started that little market in Eddie Feeder's lot for a while there. That went well, but it didn't work out. She moved on, and now we have this new one here, which I love. I'd love to see more people, but we only use local Easthampton. For a while, I thought it was other places, but you corrected me. It's just,
I think it's mostly just Easthampton.
yeah, Easthampton. So,
Okay, so, right here.
right here, yeah,
Yeah,
Fridays. It's awesome. How could we expand that? Who would we go to? What do you think?
I'm guessing we would get someone who would spearhead an individual aspect of it. Like, for example, one of the things I've been sort of desirous of seeing is a kind of a flea market element. We had that for a little while. That was pretty popular. I had a conversation and I vaguely recollect that it was just time and commitment burden to the person that was doing it, not a lack of turnout or success on the part, the people were coming. And I do know that it was a fluctuating group of flea marketers, which can make it more difficult, because I did hear some of the people who had set up say that it wasn't working out for them, but they also want regulars, so you wouldn't, when you're dealing with something like antique books, I think that you kind of have to be there established enough so that people that are going to make that purchase know to come and check it out. Otherwise, most people aren't looking for antique books when they just stop. So the idea of a flea market, for example, and I would think that would be one person who takes that element and then say there's another element like, I don't know, we want to have, something for the kids, whatever that is, right? Like some other... I'm kind of going here quickly, but am I
Modular
right?
add-ons.
Yeah, modular is what
Yeah.
I was imagining this would be, right? Sort of modular add-ons to the farmer's market,
Yeah.
is that right?
And I think finding someone to spearhead that is how that would work. I've heard lots of comments that it's hard because people go a few weeks and then they stop coming. And I know there's some other things too. The Local Works Committee, and I know Kathy at ECAT has been pushing a big circus parade. They want an event, things like Local Works has talked at great length about the possibility of involving, because they want to promote businesses, about involving almost like a sidewalk sale kind of thing, have a day where we bring vendors out onto the street, or, and there's all kinds of issues with everything we'll try, but But that is another possibility or option for a festival. And we also have the half shell and the shows that are great down there. I don't know if you've been, and if we can find ways to kind of tie all these things together into a big event.
The modularity could work though then, because instead of being a big event, which is a big job for an individual, if that modularity means, many hands make light work, spread that out. You're taking one thing, I'll do the tag sale thing, then it's not so much of a burden on any one person or group.
I have to say, I feel like that I love that farmer's market, and I would go to it myself more if there were food. And
Prepared, you mean?
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people would come, because when you want to buy veggies, that's like a sliver of your week where you're like buying veggies, but like a lot of people have to feed themselves, and so their foot traffic would be in there more. So then you'd get an ice cream, and then you'd maybe buy a dozen ears of corn. I feel like really good farmers markets do like the small little vendor cooking something, and there's only one vendor that's been there infrequently who's cooked food. So I feel like getting food, and I think it could also be an opportunity. A module would be having our local artists sell their work there, because I feel like that's what I want to buy when I go to a farmer's market, is a little bit of veggies, a little bit of food, a little bit of a gifty thing for
Bread. I'd love it if bread was there.
It sounds like these things are difficult to sustain, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wonder if having periodic, time-limited, one-week festivals, Christmas festival for a week on the half shell.
That's a neat idea. Or even
Yeah,
farmers
vendors, you
markets,
have
sell them for
farmers,
3
you have
week
artisans,
slots, so they come for
send
3 and then you
stuff,
rotate the
and-
slot out.
And people come,
That's a good idea, Kirk.
and that way it's not one person or someone who's taking responsibility for
If we look to, let's say Northampton as an example of success, my impression is there's sort of a snowball effect too. The bigger an event it is, the more people want to come to it and set up their wares. And for example here, I know, because we stop at the Easthampton Farmers Market all the time, a lot of times somebody's kind of rolling it up. They're like, yeah, it's a slow day, not much happening, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. And it's a chicken and an egg problem. Well, then some people stopped by and, oh, well, that person's gone.
Yeah.
Then they don't stop by next time. It's hard, but the more of an event and a scene, a happening that it is, this is my impression. So correct me if I'm wrong, but then I think the more it builds on itself.
You're absolutely right, and that's where a committee like this, the community support, can really make a huge difference. Do we know who runs the Easthampton?
It's the Agricultural Commission, runs the farmers market. And I just want to sort of speak to the economics of it, that you have to think about, you have to get people there, and there's got to be a draw, because the farmer is taking somebody out of the fields, out of their, out of their location to put them at the market. So it's costing them money to have people there. It's also an issue in regards to the food. My understanding is if they don't sell it, it has to get chucked. So I think, I've heard that before, I'm not totally confirming that, but, so we have to understand that I think one of the reasons farmers markets are hard is the economics of them can be difficult.
And my
Unless
motivation
you've got-
would be to improve that's the whole point.
You gotta get people there.
For it to be profitable enough that those farmers are
Right.
coming, hopefully even more of them,
Right.
staying longer, selling more.
Right.
The whole motivation here would actually be to make it
This
more of a
is
success.
going to be really redundant, but it sounds like the next step is to put one of us in front of the Ag Commission and start a communication. Who wants to do it?
I don't know anything about it, but I'm interested.
Sound like the right guy. Is there anyone else that wants in? Do we know when they meet?
I don't know when they meet.
Can you find that out and let us know? If it turns out there's a conflict, next meeting we can search for someone else
the
to-
Ad Commission.
Yeah.
I would also possibly encourage, if you're talking about food vendors, you might just want to talk to the health agent.
Yeah.
Because there's Board of
I know
Health
there's
regulations
restrictions,
about what they can and cannot sell.
But I know that just like Bearfest, obviously they, like
Licensure,
ice
yeah.
cream advantages and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
So I don't know all the details about them, but, I know that the first Friday that the farmer's market was open, she was going to every single vendor and, checking and making sure that they were up to code on what they were supposed to be doing, and it's...
I don't I want to be cautious here, and please don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean this in any way as a condescension, but my suspicion is that they have a lot of investment in this committee, and they have a direction that they're going in. So my recommendation, I think, for our road for success there is to plug ourselves into them first before we start tossing in. And I hope that didn't come off wrong.
I would.
Let's get their feeling of it before we.
I'm fascinated
Start rocking.
to know what exactly they're doing, what they're up to.
Okay.
No concept.
I think we've made it through this week's easy stuff. I don't know how we're doing for time. It's kind of an interesting gauge. Not good.
Can I?
Did you have a question?
It was just kind of a process question. So every week we're gonna move forward on 3 easy things?
Well, I think next week I'm going to take the existing stuff we have. We probably won't have to vote again and just kind of move through it. We've got enough here that we've done through that we can just keep narrowing this down, and when we run out, we can start this tedious vote. We don't have to vote every time.
Right.
It was just to get it started.
Okay.
But
So are these going to be agenda items for the next meeting? Is like a report back on...
these are going to go to old business.
Okay.
Yeah, these are going to get shifted to old business. So the concept is here, process question. We vote about what we talk about it, we get a delegation going and start the process rolling, move it to old business so we can keep tabs on it and get reports and constantly flow new things in until we get overwhelmed, then we catch up, and when we catch up, then we start adding new things in. I hope that works for you guys. Okay, so we don't have much time left. We might only get to one thing. But we'll see how it goes. So let's start with the number one top item. That's the wellhead.
Aquifer.
Yeah, the wellhead aquifer. Who wants to talk to us?
I will say that I bet we have consensus. I know that the issue of the garbage dump in Northampton brought to a lot of people's attention that not only, that's how I learned how good our water was, but also how precious it is and what a large aquifer it is, that it needs protection because unlike maybe some others, it's not confined to a small portion of our boundaries. So.
Yeah. Does everyone know kind of what we have? I know about the Barnes Aquifer, and I get that thing that the homeowners get, which is a little report every year. I'm sure you've all gotten that, which is really informative and very cool. And I know that we have some of the cleanest water around, which I love, and I want to protect that. And I remember seeing in that report recently that one of the wellheads had somehow changed, or there was some risk to it in some way, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah, I don't know the details, but you probably want to invite somebody from the water department. Actually, if Mike Sarworth was here, he could answer to all of this because he works in the water department. So you might want to hold off on this discussion until Mike is here because he could really answer the questions to all of this.
I think that's a great idea. It still is at the forefront, but we have an expert on this issue, which we all think is at the top. He'll be here at the next meeting. He emailed me. Is there a motion to table this until next meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All against? I could record say it was unanimous. Next issue on the list, I think we have a tie between 17 and 20. Let's go to 17 because it's just in order. Create a Transportation Commission staffed by members from various city boards. What do we have already?
For transportation?
Nothing. No one?
Nothing. This was actually a pretty, I don't know if you remember, but it ended up being like, this was something that people really kind of wanted. And the sort of the spin-off effect is when we were doing this plan, when I was at PVPC, the transportation department was able to get some federal funds to do a Route 10 corridor study. And our plan at the time was that the committee that was going to oversee this Route 10 corridor study would hopefully naturally become a transportation committee, but that never panned out because that ended up in front of you guys, right, on highway business.
Right.
So, and I don't think highway business is going to be staying. It'll probably be disbanded once it's the end of the year. So,
Does that push it to the planning board to make any decisions about that, or who?
what, the highway business?
I mean, if a transportation issue comes up right now, who does it go to?
Well, DPW, I mean, it sort of depends on what road and what the issue is, but for the most part, it's Department of Public Works that is dealing with sort of the maintenance and the upkeep. But if it was, to develop a new park and ride lot somewhere, there's nobody in town at this point. It would probably end up being in the planning department to sort of figure that stuff out. So I think it would be great to have a group that's focused on, multimodal issues, bike, ped, auto, dealing with transit, PBTA,
Which
which
department should oversee it?
well, I'm on the advisory board for PBTA, so I'm the Easthampton rep. But it would be great if somebody in town had an interest and wanted to be an advocate and would be more involved from the grassroots level. Because right now I'm sitting on a board with, representatives from all the communities. And
It seems like if we could get a chair, someone who's really interested and invested, and find out which committee could oversee it, we could go to that committee, have them form it as a subcommittee. So we just need to figure who's the oversight and who's the chair.
I don't know, and I think that's going to be hard to I don't think it's going to be as easy as just that. I think,
Wishful thinking?
I think it's, I would suggest that maybe you talk with Jason Duda. Do you know Jason Duda at all?
Yeah.
Because this was one of his, he sat on this transportation subcommittee, and this was one of his big things that he was really interested in and invested in.
Maybe a potential chair.
I think he's a little busy with the licensing board right now, but you could ask. I think it'd be worth having a conversation with him. You could even invite him here to talk about it if you were interested, just to get an understanding of where the strategy came from, because it really was out of the committee that he sat on and he was really invested on.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I was
You're on
it.
that committee too,
Yes.
Is
And
anyone here
I was
particularly friendly
I was
with
the
him?
only one on the committee who had any dealings at all with the PBTA.
I see, that's right.
So that's,
Are you-
I was pushing.
Are you friendly with Jason?
I know Jason.
Is anyone here friendly with him? Or Jess?
I mean, I can certainly email him and ask him to come to a meeting. Do you want me to do that?
That'd be great. I would love that. I'd rather use our best face for, to make that happen. Now, you say that you were involved in that process. Before obviously the next step here is to table it until we get an expert in here to advise us. And Jason would seem to be that, but maybe you're an expert too. Do you want to tell us something about what you learned there?
Well, for example, when you think of economics, most of the jobs around here are service related, and that's talking about a 7-day week. Anyone who rides a bus, anyone who does not have a car, Sundays are out. There's no Sunday public transportation at all in Easthampton. And to go over the mountain, when HCC is not in session, it takes 2 hours if you're using the PVTA to get from here to Springfield. And even like a couple of summers ago, I took a class up at HCC. They had one bus that runs there in the summer, happened to make the last bus out of there. It went to the transport center in Holyoke at Veterans Park. Then it was another bus to Northampton, and then another bus to Easthampton. So it took me an hour and 3/4 to get from HCC to my house.
So there's definitely problems there.
Yes.
All right.
So anyone who wants to work in Holyoke, or people from Holyoke who want to work or shop here, can't.
If such a committee were formed, would you be interested in being on it?
Yes.
Well, that's a great start. I think we should have you contact him. We'll get together with him, and we'll talk about that when we get him in here, and we can start work on that. We have one item left. Would you guys like to do that at the next meeting, since we are now officially over our hour, or would you like to push through a little bit? Anyone have a feeling on that?
I prefer to push through.
I have a little time to push through, but...
We'll try and everyone keep in mind that we should work through this, and we can continue next meeting. Item 20, repair the pool at Whitebrook. Okay, All I know is the last thing I heard, which was almost a year ago, is there was a heater issue.
Did the leak get fixed? 'Cause
I heard that did get fixed.
Did-
Yeah, is the roof?
I don't know, that's hearsay. You know, I got it from some mom that I was bringing my kid to that event with, and so.
Somebody should probably contact the school committee, would be my guess.
Is that who's under, is it under the
I
school
would-
committee or is it under Parks and
I
Rec?
don't think it's under Parks and Rec. I would start with school.
Maybe Michael.
And they might kick you to Parks and Rec, but I would start with the school.
Well, I'm good friends with Peter Gunn,
There you go.
so I'll talk to Peter. Jim talks to Peter.
So I'd assume they're the first things to find out what does it actually need,
Yeah, what's the state of it? Maybe he's got some documentation on it.
try to devise what it would take to.
Does
get it
anyone else
100%.
have any leads in or know anybody that might know
What
somebody?
about Gail Cannon?
Kind of know Peter Gunn, but not
Great
well.
guy.
Yeah, so,
Fantastic guy.
What about Gail Cannon?
Very good friends with her too. But you know her because her husband's on your
Yeah.
highway review committee,
Yeah.
the two of you, right?
Yeah, I've known Gail for years.
Gail's been working in the schools for a really long
Yes.
time, so she might be a good contact person as well, just to sort of put it in the right direction.
Which of you doesn't have a delegated task?
Okay, I can talk to Gail.
Contact Gail, find out what she knows about the pool, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to Peter, you talked to Gail? That sounds like a good start there. Is there anything anyone wants to
But
add?
I think, frankly, I'm not sure that Gail is going to have much to say because she's pretty much at the high school.
Yeah.
But she might know where to go.
Yeah.
She might put you in the right
Yeah.
direction of who to talk to.
Okay, yeah, I can talk to Gail.
I know we'd all like to see it up and running. It's an asset to the community. My kid, my first son learned to swim there and my second son didn't. Because it's down. All right. Anything else about that? All right, where's my agenda? We've completed. Our next meeting date is going to be 2 weeks from today at 6:30. Does anyone have a problem with that?
What's the date? Sorry. No.
I think it's the 11th.
Tell you
I think it's the
this.
11th.
yeah.
Is there any, there's no reports for too early? Any requests for anything to go on the agenda next
At 11?
time? We'll do that later. No announcements? I need a motion to adjourn.
So
Second?
Second.
Allison motions. Jason, seconds? All in favor?
All right.
All against? Abstentions? Let's go home so I can go to bed. Thank you. We actually didn't go too far over. I'm impressed that we got that much done.